Greetings, my fellow humanoid dwellers. I create videos on technology and other random things. If you like this video, you might like others. If you don't like this video, you still might like others. Consider subscribing to my channel or checking out my Patreon page. If you already subscribe, hit that bell. In this video, we're going to add one of the Cheap Controls videos into the Cheap Controls website. I added a movie, a test MP4, to a directory that I created in the Cheap Controls hierarchy, and now I'm going to add the tags to add a video. Adding a video is not very difficult, especially with HTML5. You have to give it a width and a height. Then you specify that it has controls. At the end, we'll take that word out just to see the difference. We have to give it the video source, you have to specify the directory, and the type. And really that's it, but I am going to go ahead and put some text in there just in case the browser doesn't support the type. Now we save it. If you'll notice, I put it above the Patreon links. I'm picking up right where I left off in the last website video. Now we're going to go over to the Cheap Controls and see if it works. And it looks like the video came up and it's working. We can click play and it works. It looks like the controls are there so we can adjust different things. Now let's go back and we'll remove that control word and see how it looks. Now without the controls, you will not even have the ability to start it by the user. You could write some JavaScript or some coding in the back to maybe get it to go manually. So this would be a good solution if you don't want to have user control. But for the most part, you'll want user control. And like I said, HTML5 makes it very easy to just add that in there and you have control. Okay, now we need to look at some styling. We're going to add it in the same order. If you notice, we put it above the Patreon links, so we're going to put our styling in above the Patreon links. I like to keep things organized so I can easily find things in my CSS file. If we put this within another container, we can better control how the video is going to look, especially if we want to add more videos down the line. I'm going to create a div with the ID of videos to place the video within. We're going to give it a position of relative. We give it a width of 100. We want the height to be higher than the height of the video. So we're going to go ahead and set that at 300 pixels. That way anything that goes in between this must fit within that 300 pixels or will overflow down below. We could set the height as auto if we were concerned about something larger being in there. Now we're going to go ahead and set the CSS for the video itself. And we're going to move it 50% to the left. And then we're going to move the width and the height of the video itself into the CSS. It's just a little cleaner that way. It won't be within the HTML. You want to keep your styles in the style sheet and your HTML in the HTML file. If you don't, as your site gets bigger and bigger, it will get more and more confusing. In the end, it might have been quicker just to type it in. Now we have to enter that div into the HTML page, the one that we created the reference for in the CSS. I like to use Emmet, which is a shortcut, so I can just put the word div and then a hashtag or pound symbol videos, and it creates the div for me. Do a little cleanup, make sure it all looks neat. Now we go back, we're going to refresh the screen and see what we got. Something's wrong, the video is way too big. It looks like I left out the PX for the pixels. We'll add that and we'll go back and refresh the screen again. Well, that looks better, but it's still over on the left side. You have to add a position element in the child. Since there was no position in the video container, it took the position from the videos container. You have to define it specifically. Now you can see that it's moved over to the right 50%, but it's lined up by the left edge of the video container. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back 50% of the video container itself. We're going to do a transform translate, but we just want to translate the x coordinate, and we're going to bring it back 50%. The left 50% move the whole thing 50% of the container that it's within. The transform translate moves it 50% of the container itself. So now it's centered. Everything looks good. What might be nice though is to add a little border around it just to make it look like the pictures below. So we're going to copy the border from the pictures and just paste it in. And it looks like the border's off a little bit. I wonder if I guessed on the picture size or on the width and height of the div. We may need to go back and adjust that. We're going to go ahead and adjust the height to auto. That way it should automatically fit to the size of video that we have. We're going to go ahead and knock it down just a little bit just to position it more in the middle. If you remember now, we've made that height quite a bit smaller than 250 or approximately 250. So let's knock the top down just a little bit. Hopefully it'll look a little nicer underneath there. There, that kind of squares it up just a little bit better. And we've added a video to our website. That's about it for today. Thanks for watching.